Hello everyone and welcome to the next episode of Outside of Life, where I chat with inspiring artists 5 days a week. My name is Eva and my guest today is Ben Fiquet, and you will learn how he got to his own studio and his trick to keep motivated.
I try to motivate myself by not finishing a drawing, and just before you finish it and you're very happy with it, you leave it open and you leave and you go back to your house. And so the next morning, you can't wait to go back to your drawing and start again.
Ben is an illustrator and CEO of a Lizardcube game studio based in Paris, France. He has worked on a different projects with companies like Dreamworks, Zodiac Kids, Chez Eddy, King.com, and others. Recently, his studio released a remake of a video game called Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap. So please welcome Ben Fiquet and let's get to the interview. So welcome everyone to the next episode of Outside of Life, and I'm super happy to have Ben here. Hi!
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. And how are you today? You are in the studio, and how is it going? Daily life in the studio?
Oh, well, it's great actually. I'm based in Paris. I live in Paris, and well, it's pretty much every day the same. But freelancing is actually great. I've been doing that for 10 years now, and it's actually very stress-free life.
Super. I'm happy that it's like working out for you, and also that you joined us here and took time from your busy schedule of creating like games and freelancing and everything. And maybe we can start with your background, as we usually do in the interviews. Just you can maybe share some of your biggest turning points, how you got to art, and what was like your first creative outlet as a child.
Well, I like everybody, I've been drawing all my life, basically. When I was a child, my mother really wanted me to be an artist because she was a music teacher. And so she always pushed me for, because she knew I always loved to draw and to be passionate about these things. And so, yeah, I always drew. And she put me in few private lessons, like the city I was in, a small city in the west of France. They had like a few lessons for kids. And after that, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't think there was like a work out of it, and I started doing general high school and doing scientific stuff and this kind of things, and because I was really rubbish in school, I just didn't have any choices, basically. My mother, I had night lessons of drawings, and that was a private school, and they were offering courses after high school. And because I was so rubbish at school, this is the only school that wanted me, basically. So from then I've been drawing and trying to make a living after.
So how was it to find like the first job after school or even during school?
Oh, it was great. Like the first time someone paid me for my drawings, I was thrilled because, yeah, it's you don't understand how lucky you are until someone is paying you for what you love to do. And that was in a video game company, small video game company, and they wanted like art design, character design for a poker game. And I did that on top of my school, and that, you know, that basically started my career, if I say. And because I was participating on art forums, there was a French art forum called Café Salé, which I don't know if it still exists, but
they also have books, right?
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah, and a guy from that company saw my work, and he he just sent me an email, and basically just being present on the internet helps you find jobs.
Ah, okay. So it was on the forum that you had. It was not like Instagram. It was like a French
Oh
forum,
no,
right?
we're talking about 2004.
Yeah, yeah,
So
exactly.
no, Facebook didn't exist, Instagram not at all, and that was on a forum, and I was posting and hosting my images on very strange websites, but.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
that's.
it started like that on art forums. That was the way you discover artists at the time.
And did you also apply to be on some of these books like Café Salé? Because I think it's like an equivalent of expose book kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I tried once. Yeah, I think I tried once. I didn't. They didn't like it, so I didn't get in. But yeah, I tried once, I think. But I was not too much into that. There's a particular mood in each forum, and I was not really into that mood. So I didn't. I wasn't really involved.
Yeah. But that's true, actually, as you mentioned, like, with Instagram and Facebook, because like Facebook started, what, 2006 or something?
I think, and it was not in
Or more.
French until 2008 or something.
Yeah, and the same with Instagram. So yeah, so the forums or blogs was the way to go before. And so what is the platform which you use now to find new projects or clients, or, just connect with other people?
Well, I try to be present on every channel because it's even if it's kind of boring for people following me, because I'm posting the same thing on Instagram or my personal website or Twitter. But some people are following you via Facebook. Some people are following you via Twitter. So it's important to be present on every platform, I think.
Yeah.
But I'm more connected on Twitter at the moment because I managed to speak with different people from different industry, and it's more, there is an exchange. Like there is not on Instagram. Instagram you just like or don't, but there's not much of a comment,
Yeah, like the conversation or
conversation,
some platforms. Yeah.
And Facebook as well, it's very difficult to have access to all the right information. And Facebook is, they always offer you to buy more followers and buy more reach, which is kind of annoying actually. So I prefer to have everything on my website and then start to...
Yeah. So it's good to have a base of like the website, and then you can reach to different platforms to connect with people.
Because everything is growing at the same pace. I think like 3,000 something on Facebook, 3,000 on Twitter. So I think some people are dedicated to one platform and some people are dedicated to another. So it's important to be as reachable as you can be.
And how was the transition or networking, when you decided to work as a studio from when you did freelance, and so how was this, or how it came to be?
Well, yeah. So I started in a studio. Actually, we were doing a video game with my now associate Omar, and which was called Soul Bubbles in 2006. And after that, I went to London for 2 years, and I went in different animation studio. I worked for commercial mainly and short films, and I came back in France in 2009 for doing comic books, which ended up really disappointing. But anyway, and from time to time I was working in the animation studio in France, like for TV series or things like that, and I always prefer to work from my studio because I have more, I can manage my hours, I can manage everything. And now I have a really difficult time to work in a studio and to be there at 9 or 10 and follow everyone direction. Yeah.
And so now, how do you design your day now? Because as you mentioned, you have a family, and so how does it work? What is your maybe daily routine, or do you have something which you do like all the time?
Well, yeah. You wake up with a kid. Actually, she's 2.5 years old, and she's a delight. But kids are really handful, and so I start at 7:38 and take the kid to the nanny, and come to the studio at 9:30 or 10, and trying to leave between 6 and 7 for being with a kid at the end of the day, and just share with her, and just having fun, and
Yeah.
just enjoy life. And I try not to work on weekends, so it's pretty straightforward, like I would do in a classic company.
Yeah. And do you have something which kind of simplifies your daily life, like a organizing tool or something like a communication with your coworkers, like a Slack or other stuff?
Yeah, we do use Slack for the video game company. I use Skype for other people, and for everyday's tool, I think it's Google Docs and Google Keep. Just a post-it note, which is every small low-tech things is very helpful, because there's like many options there now, like a Trello, or for organizing your day, your work, your project, and it's too complicated. I just want to have like very simple task at end. But now with the video game company, everything starts to pile up, like administrative stuff, and my family life, my work life, and everything is piling up as I grow up.
And how do you do the planning? As you say, you have a lot of tasks, and do you plan ahead for a week or a month, or do you break down like tasks like longer?
I try to have a specific goal for each week. Like, I'm gonna do this kind of drawings for the project I'm working on, or I have, like, if I'm really into production, I have an Excel type of list, and I just cross everything I'm doing, and I try to motivate myself by not finishing a drawing, and like, just before you finish it and you're very happy with it, you leave it open, and you leave and you go back to your house. And so the next morning, you can't wait to go back to your drawing and start again, because that's how you stay motivated.
Do you do some other stuff as well for the motivation, like, or it's mainly the keeping the drawing open, or is there something else when you have like a down day and you don't feel like creating stuff?
Yeah, well, I play the music with two of my friends from school. One is animation director on Despicable Me. The other is one of the author of Last Man comic book. And so we have a little band which is kind of relaxing every week, and I look at a lot of artists on Tumblr, on not on Instagram. Actually, I have Feedly. Feedly is a RSS feeder, and I try to have everyone I follow, and I have like 100 drawings to see a day, only on Feedly and Twitter as well. So it keeps me motivated, and I try to save as much as I can on Pinterest for myself. Oh yeah, that's good. I like to do that. I'm rubbish. I don't know how to draw.
So just the inspiration from different sources, like either fantasy or graphic design, kind of, or everything combined. And when you were growing up or starting your art business, did you have a mentor or someone who inspired you most to do this?
Not really. It's mainly the people you meet, the people you want to become, or the artists you want to become. Like at some point, you're really into, I don't know, manga, for example, and you want to become like Otomo. And so you start trying to follow his way of drawing. And after some point, you're bored and you want to try to be like, I don't know, Glenn Keane, the famous animator. And so it's not like one person who's gonna teach you everything and you're gonna follow his step all the way. With internet now, you find your own path basically.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because you have like so many people you can learn from.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Do you remember maybe like a best advice and also the worst advice you ever received?
Not really, no. No, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of a mixture, but so sometimes just, yourself, you're saying to yourself, I'm gonna work like, because all your friends, like for instance at school, everyone wanted to work at Pixar at the time. It was 2003 or 4, and you start to wonder, oh yeah, I'd like to do that. I'd like to work at Pixar, but it's not for me. I'm not an animator per se, and so you start to follow other people's dream, and at some point you just have to find what you really like. And so sometimes that's why I try different things. I tried to work in animation, video games, in comic books, and after a few years, you start to refine what you love and what you don't.
Yeah. And so what made you fall in love with games and the game creation?
Oh yeah. Since I was a child, basically we were in the countryside. We had nothing around us, just cows and pigs. And so we had a Master System with my brother, and later Mega Drive, Genesis for American listener. And I really was into it. And I was into the very arty one, like Aladdin for Genesis, or Earth from Dream, Cool Spot, and all the very animated games, which I kind of do now. And I think I really loved it, but at some point I lost interest. I wanted to do comic books, and then I wanted to do animation, and after some time, I realized, I like video games. I'm always watching news about video games. I'm always trying to play new release. And so the opportunities came to me, and we had the opportunity to set up a studio with my co-founder, Omar. And just followed refining what I want, and I follow what I really liked. So that's it.
That's great. And so if someone would want to do what you do now, maybe, or design their own video game, what would you advise them? What is the most important when you are creating this world or the characters?
I don't know really. I know really. I mean, I'm not a professional video game artist. I did a video game like I know how to do it, like a 2D traditional animation, and I wouldn't know how to make other video games really. So I'm not in a position to say to people, Jay, go this way, try this, and because it's not, I'm not legitimate to say this.
And what would you say it's like your, you are specialized in this, like, okay, I'm the best at something.
Are you the best at something, really? You're not. You're not. You're just trying to do the best work in every work you do. Like for every things I did, I tried to do my best, even for crappy jobs. I try to do my best and be efficient and on time. That's the main thing. And be efficient, be on time, and try to do a good work even for crappy project, crappy companies. And at some point, don't stay. If you don't like it, don't stay. Try to find other thing you like and follow it if you can.
Yeah.
Because it's not always the case. Sometimes you have, family things and stuff.
Yeah. And do you see maybe some mistakes young artists or starting artists are doing when you look at someone's portfolio or like a social network account, from your experience, what would be something like to look at when you are starting?
Well, don't look only at artists on internet, because I find that on internet people are always trying to please the crowd. So you always find the same theme and the same way of drawing sometimes. So some people don't really care about this, and you follow them because they have their unique way of drawing. But there's a lot of young artists that they don't try to look at other things, so they're repeating, like there is some trendy theme at the moment, and they're just gonna draw it. And there's a trendy way of painting, so they're gonna follow it. And I'm not gonna say go to the museum or theater, because maybe you don't want to do that, but try to look at all the things that just pleasing the crowd. Pleasing the crowd, and it can be very tricky. I worked recently with a big YouTuber, and he told me that friend of his, like famous YouTubers, they tend to not being able to do what they want because they want to please and they want to have followers, they want to have likes on their video, and that's the same thing. You really have to be careful on not losing yourself, I think.
Yeah, and just having inspiration maybe from other things, not only art, just doing also sports or whatever.
Not
movies.
really, because you're talking about artists. Nobody do sports.
Some people do sports.
Yeah, I'm kidding. Okay.
But do you have maybe some events you go to for inspiration, like maybe Annecy for animation?
I don't have time for this either. I have a kid now.
But you can take your family, like with Annecy, you can sit with the child as well on the meadow and watch the movies, right?
Yeah, you wish. But no, there's a lot of opportunities in Paris when I didn't have a family. You go to openings, you go to a museum, you go to just the cinema and look at TV series, and there's a lot of mediums very interesting at the moment, and video games, of course, because I think there is a lot of interesting thing happening in video game right now. That's why I'm really happy to be part of it at the moment.
Cool. Can you share some maybe inspirational projects, like which you say like these are cool?
Oh yeah, well, Cuphead, the video game looking like a 30s cartoon, is really great looking, fantastic. But there is like small indie projects like I follow, and it's just trying different stuff, and there's a lot of things to try. Not only on gameplay side, but also on artistic level. Because it's, I think there's a lot of things you can do now that you couldn't before, because video games is very demanding for the computers and consoles. But no, there's really interesting thing at the moment.
And can you maybe recommend some books or other resources young artists can learn from, if they want to do more video games?
That depends on what you want to do, because video games is very wide. You can be a programmer, you can be a game designer, you can be a game artist, you can be a producer, you can be so. I think I ended up where I am now just by sheer luck. So I don't want to be arrogant to say, yeah, you have to follow this kind of way, this kind of. Just try to aim for what you like and define what you like, and try to find, the resources you need to go there.
Yeah, and do you have maybe some books which you kind of give as a present? It doesn't have to be art related, something which you maybe read over or someone gave you as a present and you're like, oh, this is cool. Or you don't read much.
I do read, but less and less. But I don't know. There's many things, but I like good science fiction and fantasy books, like Game of Thrones books, for example. It's very cliche, but there's a very different approach in the books than in the TV series.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting to see how he's manipulating his characters to give them hopes, to give them goals, and it's very very interesting to like add it like that.
Yeah, because also when you're creating a character, that's always just interesting process. And how do you approach creating a character? Do you start with like sketching, or do you start with a story, or you like some prop you want to develop, or what is your creative process?
I try to have a good idea at the beginning, and follow by the execution. But it's very hard to get rid of the cliches that you have in mind. Like, for example, draw a fantasy character. You're gonna draw a warrior or an elf, and it's very hard to. I try to always have something like mainstream, but kind of a bit twisted, like which defines what I try to do most of the time. I'm trying to have something, relevant to say for each character, which is different from any other people.
Can you give us some example of the characters you created?
I don't know. I did a comic book called the All Knights, Les Chevaliers de la Chouette in French, this is a company of knights, brotherhood, and the three brothers, which are the head of the family, they've been cursed, and each one of them has a curse. So, for example, one of the main characters is an owl. And it's a knight, but he's cursed into an owl, and that makes him just visually interesting. And you want to find out why he's that way, and so you want to find out what the other curses are. But now I'm not doing any comic books anymore, so.
Yeah, but it's interesting approach as well, just to think about something like relevant or recognizable, like in a real life, right? And then adding like a fantasy twist to it, so you still have something interesting on it. Yeah, definitely. And what are maybe some projects which are coming up you can share, which are not confidential maybe anymore, or something exciting?
Not much, actually. We just released Wonder Boy, the Dragon's Trap, on every platform possible: Switch, PC, PS4, and Xbox One. I'm working on another project which I can't talk about. I'm really happy to do it, actually. It's not with my associate because he wanted to do something else, but it's like a teenager wet dream. As an artist, I'm really happy to work on that. And what did I work on? Nothing much, really. Just I've been working mainly on that game for 1 year and a half, so I'm trying to relax for a few months now
Yeah.
and work on this other project which is not announced.
And how do you kind of combine your income streams? Do you have one main income from the studio, or do you kind of combine it from like passive income and just like a freelance work or commissions?
Yeah, well, I used to take everything I could because I was working comic books and that was not paying much. And for example, I think I got paid like 20,000 euros for the last book I did, which I did in 1 year and a half. So 20,000 euros goes up quickly in Paris, especially. So I try to take every opportunity I had, and now since I'm doing that video game, I'm actually more relaxed because we had a publisher who was paying us, and it's really more comfortable now.
So you can spread around and you can just plan more ahead.
Yeah, and since the game was released, it did quite well. All right, it did all right, and I think we can relax for I think a year and a half now.
And would you have some advice for someone looking for a sponsor or a publishing house? If they have already an idea and they want to just do it, did you have some experience? Like, okay, this is good way to contact people.
No, not really. Not really. I mean, connect with people and show your work, and by luck, by chance, you're gonna have a breakthrough at some point if you're talented and you have something to say. Don't give up. Don't give up. Reach for the stars.
Oh, perfect. And let's talk about the future. And I have like two last questions about the near future and like far future. And the first one, I would like to know, what would you like to be doing in like 5 to 10 years, and like dream scenario, and everything is going according to the plan?
Well, I'd like to keep doing video games for now, because I've worked in animation, in comic books, and the community in video games is amazing. I had a lot of great feedback from the game we did, and I couldn't be more happy because it's really interesting industry, and you also can directly sell to your customer, which is a big step, because you can't do that in music, you can't do that in cinema, and it's really I'm really in a good place right now, artistically, I mean, in work-wise, and I'd like to do that for a few years and try to keep doing what I do.
And how did you connect with customers? Was it mainly through social networks, or did you use other marketing channels to help sell your game?
Well, mainly now it's the social networks, YouTube videos and stuff. We went to a few events, one in Kyoto in Japan, and one in Los Angeles, the PlayStation Experience, and we had a PR, which is Stephanie, and she's an amazing PR. She did all the public relation in the States, and it's actually quite a good way to reach journalists there because she knows everybody, but yeah, mainly social medias. It's very important because you know when something is working when you have some traction with the likes and follows, and I know it's not a matrix that I would like to care about, but it's there, so it's a metric, and it's very important to be there and to communicate as early as possible, because many people don't hear about your games.
Yeah,
Don't
definitely.
hear about your work. Don't hear about what you did. Not even just in video games, but when you draw, when you make a comic book, people don't hear about you, and they want you to hear about you if you're not too pushy.
Yeah, that's true. And what about like far future and like in 100 years? What do you like to be remembered for?
Well, I'd like to still be alive.
Good, as a machine.
Yeah, as a machine. No, yeah, I don't know if I don't know. I don't think it's important for me to be remembered, you know. But maybe just by my descendants, my great grandchildren, and they're gonna say, "Oh yeah, I think he was a cool guy." Yeah. And that's it. Basically, you don't know. It's not something I wish for. If it by luck, if it happens, I don't know. Maybe, I don't care really.
So this was fun, and thank you so much for
Yeah.
like joining. And maybe before we say goodbye, you can share like last piece of advice or key takeaway.
Well, yeah, just care about your craft. It's very important. A lot of people asking me, how do you reach follows, likes? How do you connect with people? I mean, it's important, yeah, but care about your craft. It's important to know how to draw and to learn different aspects of drawing, because there's a lot of things to understand and to with the colors, with just the shapes, and a lot of young people don't want to burn the step. And how do I become a character designer for Square Enix? You won't. And maybe if you're a really, really ultra talented artist, you're gonna have a shot. But just care about your craft. It's very important. Yeah.
So just keep working on yourself and just improve. Perfect.
Yeah.
So thank you so much again.
Thank you.
And thanks everyone for joining, and see you in the next episode. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and let me know in comments. Also, please subscribe to my channel for more videos, because I post new interview every single workday. You can also find the resources mentioned in this episode at artsideoflife.com. Just type a guest name in the search bar. There is also a little freebie waiting for you, so go check it out. If you want to listen to the interviews on the go, make sure to check out the podcast episodes at artsideoflife.com/podcast. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you, and don't forget to inspire each other. I will see you guys in the next episode.